Because did you rewatch it when the pandemic started?
What me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I did. I rewatched. I
yeah.
don't even know why. I think it came out on Netflix.
It came out. Yeah,
Yeah, it came out
basically
on
it became like the
Netflix.
top thing on Netflix
Yeah, so I
when
thought.
lockdown happened.
I haven't really watched it from beginning to end. And
Right.
obviously I know what's going on, but I've never kind of watched it from the start, from season one where they
Yeah.
find Ang, and then
Right.
up until the end. So I thought, let me really watch it and kind of put everything together, because you miss some key parts when you don't watch it fully. And then as
Yeah.
I was watching, I was seeing like the foreshadowing of certain things, and how one event leads to another, just kind of slowly putting them into the storyline, and that's how I really appreciate how well written it was. And
Yeah.
especially with the characters and everything, you see Aang's development. You see everyone else, especially like Zuko's development as well. You see how he started as the guy he's just there to hunt the Avatar because he wants to reclaim his honor. Up until the end, where he's like, yeah, I can, like honor isn't, uh, just seeking honor from other people
Yeah.
isn't the most important thing. It's kind of like doing what's right, but you just kind of see that progression. Um, but yeah, and
Yeah.
when I actually finished it, and I was like, yeah, this is actually probably one of the best cartoons I've ever watched in terms of the storyline and everything. Even that, and the way how clever they were in terms of certain things, because I don't know if you guys really knew, like in Nickelodeon they weren't allowed to directly show a person's death, so they use like
Oh, that's not
ways. For
surprising.
example, Ang died in it, but like he, yeah. So like Ang died in it, like basically Azul. Okay, this is a. I saw it as a spoiler in it. Like, Ang
Everyone's
dies
what,
in it
bro?
during
Like everyone's watched it, bro.
the some depends. So Ang dies in Ba Sing Se, yeah, but when you're watching it, you're like, yeah, he's dead, right? But they don't actually directly say he died
They don't
until
say yeah.
when I think it was an interview with one of the writers that said, yeah, Ang died, but we couldn't actually say Ang died, quite directly. So, or how
See,
the
when
other
that happened,
Avatar
I didn't
dies on the
really.
Avatar before
It
Ang.
didn't really
Not
translate to
Riku.
me that he was dead. So like, I guess it
Mm.
worked, but I didn't really. I really didn't really think he was dead.
Mm.
Whereas like with what's his name, Rocket or whatever his name was, Jet, Rocket, with Jets when he died, like you could tell that
Yeah.
guy was dead, but they didn't show his death. They didn't say anything. But the way he died was like this guy. No, ain't no one surviving
Yeah,
that.
they weren't really sure. Yeah,
Well, it's at the end of the day, it's
yeah, but he
Nickelodeon, and
actually
if you
died
can't
as
be
well. Yeah,
showing,
Jet actually died
yeah,
in the series, but they didn't tell you. Mm.
yeah, they didn't
Yeah,
really need
exactly.
to
They
spoon
didn't really
feed
die,
you.
because I was a bit confused, especially when, yeah, especially with the
Sorry.
consequences of Aang's death as well. Um,
Hmm.
like the consequence. If they when they said before when Aang is trying to master the Avatar state, and the Guru says, no, 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 sorry,
Yeah.
Ruko, not Ruko. What's his name? I can't remember the Avatar before. I can't remember his name for the life of me. I've just forgotten. The Avatar before Aang, he says that if you
Hmm.
die whilst you're in the Avatar state, the Avatar cycle's lost
Yeah.
forever, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So then when Aang gets shot by Azula, you kind of see him losing his connection to the Avatars. So you're like, oh, okay, so is he
Yeah.
dead or something? And then when he comes back, he can't go back into the Avatar state again up until the end. So it
Hmm.
was, I thought, oh, was that just a plot hole or something? Well, no, it was just because they couldn't directly say that he actually died, didn't it?
Hmm.
But
When I rewatched it, I I remember like when I first watched it, and I like really liked it as a kid. But when I watched it again as an adult, I was like, it only gets good in the third season.
really, no, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. For
mate.
me, it kind of only got really good in the third season when after he well, kind of when Zuko is back with his sister.
Yeah.
That's when it started getting good. But for me, it wasn't really like great until like Toph came in around that season.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it was just like next level. But
Was that
like before,
season
it was
three?
like I was. I think that's season 3.
Mm.
Um, um, but like the ones episodes before it, I was just like, okay, they were cool for the time because there wasn't anything much like it in the kind of Western media. So like it was really cool at the time, but watching it again, I like. But the story was always good, like the character progression and stuff like that, and the way their world building was really good as well in terms of like the characters and showing the conflict and all their things. That's why like Legend of Korra didn't really match up to it because like they didn't have the amount of time to build that world. Whereas it's Legend of like with the Last Airbender, like every like they took the time to develop the characters and how like how they get stronger, the things that they learn, and Zuko's character progression is like one of the best things I've seen in like cartoons. Like his progression is really really good. I don't know, Tiger, did you follow it much?
One sec, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I put myself on mute because someone sent me something. But
Oh,
did I
okay.
follow
Did you follow it?
Avatar? I did, but
Yeah.
see, I watched it while ago, and when I rewatched it was when I remember there was a time when you wow, I just gone. Okay, there was a time that
He's still there. He's still there.
oh okay, there was a time that you rewatched it back in when you were living in Edmonton,
Yeah.
and I think I watched it at your house. I watched some of it,
All right.
and then I started
Mm.
watching some of it at home, and I think I did rewatch some parts of it. I never really went the whole like from the very beginning and watched every episode
Mm.
sequentially to the end.
Yeah.
But I remember like most parts of it. Um, and I think I was never really into it so much, but I knew that it was a very good series. So I'd
Mm.
watch maybe it's because it was a Nickelodeon thing. But I always
Yeah.
felt like I could just jump in at any, and this is was incorrect. But I always felt like I could just jump in at any time and kind of understand what was going on, which to a degree I
Exactly.
did. But it didn't grip me the same way other anime does. Not that this is an anime,
Mm.
but it didn't really grip me that same way. And probably because the only place you could watch it was Nickelodeon. So sometimes you'd watch it and like you'd watch it one day and then the next day you'd watch it. It won't be the next episode. It will be some
Yeah.
random episode and you're just like, okay, what is this? So you don't really have
Mm.
that chance
Yeah.
um to really like engross yourself in the universe of Avatar. But I did watch it again as a bit older, but I still had that same mentality, so I didn't really stick. I remember enjoying the last season and the season just before the last one as well.
Yeah. Those are the best ones.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. I think those were the best ones, and
Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah, the other ones were good, but I think the last when
Earth and
having it
Fire
together,
were the two best. I agree.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
really went to that elite level when it got to those pits. When they get to Ba Sing Se, and they're trying to meet the Earth King, and then
Mm.
everything just goes completely like crazy. It reminds me of you're gonna see in Jujutsu Kaisen a certain arc. It reminds me a
Mm.
lot of the arc, like how it's kind of okay, it's kind of light, and then boom, it just like goes to like another level. Um,
Just goes left, in it.
Trust me, yeah, those bits are. But the thing I appreciate is that they didn't just suddenly jump into the action. They kind of built everything slowly from the first book, which is air. Is it? I think the first book is air. Second book
it's
is
water.
water.
I thought it was water.
Yeah, yeah. First
Yeah.
book is water. Second book is air or something. But yeah, they slowly build it up. It's just these kids kind of they don't really know what to do. They're kind of seeing how things go, and then they get information slowly, and then they have to mature really quick, especially after
Yeah.
the events of the third one. And yeah, just like how they kind of slowly build up, the character development. So you're invested in them. So that when that moment with Aang happens, you're like, oh, when that moment with Zuko happens, when he has to make a choice
Mm.
between staying, following helping the Avatar, or like keeping his allegiance with the Fire Kingdom. All of those things you care about it, but so yeah, they did a pretty good job in that.
I thought like Zuko as a character looked so dead in the first two seasons. He looked dead. with his partially bald head
He looked
and
dead
his scar
all
across his
throughout.
eye. The guy looked so dead until like he cut his hair. Then I was just like, okay, now he actually looks like a decent character. But before, the guy looked dead. Oh my days! Like I was like, this is bad character design.
He looked weird. It was just annoying, isn't it? Like, he just...
Look bare weird. And then the first time you see the uncle as well, the uncle's like, who's this bumbling? This
Yeah, and then
old guy,
when you
bruv?" But,
see him take off his shirt,
bro,
his
when he
bare
gets
webs.
wedged,
Yeah. You know, when they say, I remember a bit when it's like, do you know why they call me the Dragon of the West? And then he drinks the alcohol, it breathes out fire. And you're like, oh, because every time you think, oh, this guy's kind of weak in it. Like you don't really rate him, but you see little things or little hints that people say, oh, this guy was a general. This guy was almost brought down the Earth Kingdom by himself.
yeah,
You know, this sort of thing. So you kind of get hints that, oh yeah, this guy's actually pretty powerful, but he just kind of,
it was a G, man.
yeah.
When he first like deflected the lightning, that's the first time you see him do anything that's really OP.
Mm-hmm.
In that, like when he nearly gets struck by when Zuko nearly gets struck by lightning, and then he just redirects the lightning away. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah. You're like, oh snap, this guy isn't just some guy. He's not some any
Yeah.
dude, you know what I mean? He's actually
Yeah.
legit.
And that's the thing about the characters, that they actually took time to like be like, okay, this is these characters. Every character has something to add to the story. You see what I mean? It's not just, that's why they could take Aang in certain episodes. Aang wouldn't even be in that episode. He would just be chilling, and there would be an episode about like Kotara and Zuko, for example. Like those two, and those were like 2 episodes, and Aang wasn't in them, and it was still entertaining. Like because they helped to just develop the characters even further. All the characters were interesting in their own right. So it wasn't just like the thing about, oh, Aang is this and that, but it was like you could take Aang out of the whole thing and it could still be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Certain parts of it. Of course, you're following Aang's development in the whole story, but like, it didn't lean on him like as a kind of crutch. That's why, like, when I watch Legend of Korra, even though watching it again, I don't hate it. It leans too much on Korra. All the characters are forgettable. Whereas with Last Airbender, every single character is memorable. Even the characters that can't airbend, like flipping what's her name, the one that's the fangirl.
Is it May or
yeah.
the circus, the girl that was in the circus?
Even the circus girl that does
Yeah.
the pressure points, you know.
Yeah,
But there's
so
the other
sick.
girl that the other girl that's like that comes from the Kyoshi girl, isn't it?
Oh,
When
right.
she's in the prison and she climbs up the whole wall and jumps in everyone's head. Suki, yeah, and then like it's just like, right, this girl's got skill, you know. Before she just used fans, it's like, oh, fans, that's rubbish.
Yeah.
But like showing that she could actually hold her own against people that could like bend elements and stuff, like was really cool to see as well. So yeah, that's why I really liked it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And another thing is they I like what they did with the avatars as well, because originally when they thought of Avatar, you're thinking of these holier than thou people that they're kind of perfect. But when you actually see,
so flawed.
especially with Aang, you see his backstory, and then you see the Avatar before him, Avatar Roku, I think it's Roku. Roku,
I think, yeah.
Then you see Avatar Kyoshi, and even if you go way back, I don't think they talk about that much in the series, but in the books they talk about another Avatar that came from the Water Tribe. His name was, I think, it begins with K, like how he was considered a bad Avatar.
Yeah.
But he actually, what he did in the behind the scenes actually helped. It kind of ties into Legend of Korra in terms of like the harmony between the spirits and the spirit world and the human world, but from the outside he was seen as one of the worst avatars.
Yeah.
But then you see his story when he loses his loved one, and after that he just kind of doesn't care anymore about people.
Yeah.
Just he does what he has to do. But
yeah,
I like that dynamic. If they were to bring Avatar back, they should probably just go back to the previous the older avatars and stuff, and see it from their perspective.
People want to see those stories as well, because I do like the fact that some time progressed and technology improved, but it's gonna get to when, like with when the technology is supposed to be kind of like still kind of old school, and they have mechs, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but eventually it's gonna be a thing of okay, what's the point of bending elements when you have so many robots?
Mm-hmm.
But like I would like to get them to cover. It's such a like wasted property, super wasted. Like the we don't. I don't care about a live action version. Like, why are you making a live action
It's
version?
hard
I
to
don't
do,
want to
man.
see.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a live action version. You
Well,
see
the
what I mean?
creators aren't even in it anymore. I think they
Nah, they dropped
quit.
out of that
Yeah, they
live action
dropped out.
version as
Yeah.
well because obviously these studios always get in the way of things. Nickelodeon really treats their properties really really badly.
Mm.
You know, like they they have like really like core fans, but like for some reason they just cancel things. Like I was saying with like Rise of TMNT was really good, and they cancelled it.
Mm.
And it's like, wait, why are you canceling it? And people don't want them to cancel it, but they cancel it maybe because of toys or something like that.
But
And
what
with
was its
Legend of,
rating?
I don't know, because with a lot of these stuff, they look at the that's what happened with Legend of Korra actually. They had to cancel it. The reason why it was so short, I think it was because of the ratings.
Yeah.
So
It's
they had
only
to
three.
just
It
cram
was only
everything.
3 seasons.
Yeah,
It was.
I
Yeah,
think that
it
could have
was.
been pretty good if they didn't have to cram everything in. Because I actually really liked the villains in Legend of Korra are better than the villains in Last Airbender. I think.
Especially the first season.
Hmm.
That villain.
Apart from the
Amon.
water trap guy, Amon, that's the worst villain ever.
What, you don't like Amon?
the,
No, not
I
Amon.
didn't. No, not Amon. The other guy, the
Um,
guy with the from the water tribe that he's trying to open the portals, and that's the worst. That was the worst
no wait.
chapter in that.
So I haven't watched Legend of Korra in a while. Like for good reason. I don't think apart from the first season, I don't think it's
I've
that
forgotten
good.
his name.
But I know
The guy
there's
that
a
basically
guy
wants
that.
to become a dark avatar.
Oh, that guy. That was second. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
I hated him. But I'm talking
he
about
was
the
so
guy before
rubbish.
that. That's
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
guy that can. He was the
The
war. He
bloodbending
was the
guy.
warrior. Yeah, he was just trying to kill the avatar basically, and then like
Oh,
remove
oh,
that guy. I think
yeah, yeah,
he's.
the
I think he.
Airbender, the Airbender
Yeah, I
guy.
think he's the best.
Yeah, yeah,
I think
that
he's the
was like a
best
really good
avatar.
villain.
Mm.
Like their villains were a lot more compelling. Whereas with the Last Airbender, the Fire Lord wasn't as compelling.
He was a flat character. He was just
He was just
for evil's
very
sake.
flat. Like I want to destroy everything. I want to take over
Yeah.
everything. It was just like okay, that's his thing. Whereas like, but it was the characters that surrounded him, like his daughter. I would have liked to
Yeah.
see more about his daughter and like her redemption.
I didn't
Zuko
want a
got her
redemption,
redemption,
actually. I think we
but
talked
like,
about this before. I wasn't too. I didn't care if she didn't have like a redemption arc, even though
I would have
it
liked to see a
doesn't
redemption arc for her.
really make sense, like because so you know when Iroh, like Zuko's uncle's captured, and then he
Mm,
has this long speech about how he's supposed to redeem the family and stuff.
mm,
It's weird that it's only Zuko that does it and not Azula, because
yeah,
there's a specific plot twist in that whole thing, like in terms of Zuko's ancestry. So he's kind of destined to be the one that fixes the family and stuff like that. But it's
mm,
just weird how he does it, but Azula doesn't. But yeah,
I mean, that makes
yeah,
sense though. Why it would just be him? Well, not. I mean, if you look at it from the aspect of his sister is basically a prodigy. That she's basically she was really good at firebending or whatever. A character like that, and a character who is basically the other one who's not the prodigy, but he works hard in it. He works hard, but then through that hard work, you can see that he has flawed in other areas as well, and he has his
yeah,
uncle to kind of guide him
yeah,
towards a better path. Whereas if he didn't have that uncle, then it's clear that he would be the same as probably his sister. And I think
yeah,
that's the reason why he would have a redemption arc, just mainly because he has an outside influence that is pushing him towards you. Like pride isn't everything, as in not even pride, as in it's more so about doing the right thing rather than just doing things for your
yeah,
father's approval. Whereas
yeah,
she always had her father's approval, so it makes sense that she doesn't need to
mm,
do anything else. She's good at what she does. She only has her, like, there's no outside influence showing her that she should be a good person. Whereas for
yeah,
the other guy, there is. That's why I think that makes a lot more sense than
Mm.
if they made her like, because who would be the outside influence that will make her be good? And if they show it in
Yeah.
such a like short space of time where they have, if it's like one season that she has someone next to her, and it will just be, it won't be as authentic because we know that Zuko has been with his uncle from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's a very good point actually. Yeah,
Yeah. But
if yeah.
they gave a hint as to like the reason why Azula is like that.
Because she didn't have her
Remember
mother,
the
basically.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Like basically she was actually trying to impress her mom or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
but her mom never really gave her any kind of attention where as much as she gave Zuko, so she kind of acted out in the way she does.
Yeah.
So they kind of made her a bit more like human. Like she's not completely like evil. It's just like it's just the environment she was brought up in.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's why when she cracked, because she like it didn't matter. None of the stuff that she did mattered because all her friends left her.
Yeah. I mean, she kind of turned on them. You can see the kind of break, especially after. When did she really start breaking? I think it was after her father. Um, I can't remember. Something happened with her father, and
The
then.
thing is, it's when the darts girl, the girl with the spikes.
Oh
with
yeah,
the,
betray. Oh
throwing
yeah, I
knives and
remember
stuff,
that. Yeah, she
betrayed her.
her because she was trying to kill Zuko, and she stopped her from doing it. Then
Yeah,
after that, she kind of said, "Oh, even my best friends betrayed me," and then she
yeah,
just starts going off the rails, and then her mind snaps. Yeah, she actually does go insane at the end, unfortunately.
she goes nuts, man.
Um, yeah,
That's a sick fight though.
yeah, yeah. It was a sick fight. I think I like what it's kind of what Tego was alluding to. Is like you kind of see, this is how Zuko would have ended up if he didn't have his uncle, by his side advising him. So
Yeah,
that's Zuko with Iroh, and Zuko without Iroh would have ended up being Azula.
yeah.
So yeah, it's one of them ones.
I think what I would like to see is like rather than well I would like to see a new series, but I would like them to expand the world more.
Mm.
You know, like do maybe short like really short episode, like maybe like a series exploring the different kind of areas. So like the White Lotus, the Red Lotus, where it came from and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where because Zuko was like, "Where's my mom?" and then we never find out. We have to read the books or we have to
Yeah,
read
you
the
have to read the
comics
books to
for it.
find out. Yeah.
You know, or like there's like Kiyoshi, how she was like actually really like cutthroat, like she found it better sometimes. It was much she didn't mind killing people if she had to.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't hard. She was not a pacifist, whereas Aang is a complete pacifist.
Yeah,
But
because
like
he was raised as a
Kiyoshi was
monk,
just like,
basically.
look, yeah,
Yeah.
if you're causing trouble, yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna kill you in it. So it would have been easy to see, interested to see like just little aspects of that. You know how they did with like, for example, with Animatrix, where it expands the world
Yeah.
a lot more. Like that would be quite interesting to see. But I would also like to see like another Avatar, because they did. I would like them to go through the different tribes. You know, because we got air and we got water, and I guess that was probably their plan to go through different tribes. But Nickelodeon,
Nickelodeon just
what
dropped
can you
it.
do with it?
I have a feeling that maybe the next 5-10 years, I think Avatar will probably come back in. I think they'll just maybe Netflix will pick it up and make like a darker version of Avatar. You know,
Yeah,
but who knows? Maybe there'll be
So,
some sort of a spiritual successor because you know how they have Dragon Prince, which
yeah.
is essentially you can
I
see
quite
the
like Dragon Prince.
yeah I like Dragon Prince. I don't know if it's coming back. The next season's coming back this year or next year, but you can see how it takes things from the world of Avatar and kind of brings it in there. You can see the similarities.
Yeah,
But hopefully they bring back Avatar. You never know, man. They brought back Samurai Jack, so
yeah.
after
And the way
what
that
was it,
finished was
15 years,
yeah.
even though
As
it was a completely different turn. It was so dark.
That thing was showing the blood and everything. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
wow,
I was
this
like,
is a
yeah, it's
this is
weird,
a
innit?
different Samurai Jack. It's like grown Samurai Jack.
It was bare dark, bare depressing.
It
At
was
some
so
points.
dark.
Yeah. And then at least it has the ending that the author,
Yeah,
the creator wanted.
yeah,
Even though I didn't really like the
yeah.
ending that much, but I was like, I was happy to see
At least
Samurai
there was
Jack back. Yeah,
payoff.
he had his
Yeah.
ending. That's his arc over. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe who knows? They be like, you know what? Like let's do some Netflix, like a short Netflix series or something like that. I'll be fine with that.